The Songhai Empire was a state that dominated the Western Sahel in the 15th and 16th century. At its peak, it was one of the largest states in African history. The state was known by its historiographical name, derived from its leading ethnic group and ruling elites, the Songhai. Sunni Ali established Gao as the capital of the empire, although a Songhai state had existed in and around Gao since the 11th century. Other important cities in the empire were Timbuktu and Djenne, conquered in 1468 and 1475 respectively, where urban-centered trade flourished, and to the south is the North Akan state of Bonoman. During the second half of the 13th century, Gao and the surrounding region had grown into an important trading center and attracted the interest of the expanding Mali Empire. Mali conquered Gao towards the end of the 13th century. Gao remained under the Malian hegemony until the late 14th century. As the Mali Empire started to disintegrate, the Songhai reasserted control of Gao. Songhai rulers subsequently took advantage of the weakened Mali Empire to expand Songhai rule. Under the rule of Sunni Ali, the Songhai surpassed the Malian Empire in area, wealth, and power, absorbing vast areas of the Mali Empire and reached its greatest extent. His son and successor, Soni Baro, 1492 to 1493, was a less successful ruler of the empire, and as such was overthrown by Muhammad Toure, 1493 to 1528, called Askia, one of his father's generals, who instituted political and economic reforms throughout the empire. The empire experienced a period of stability and a string of military successes during the reign of Askia Daud, 1549 to 1582 to 83. Askia Ishaq II, 1588 to 1591, ascended to power in a long dynastic struggle following the death of Askia Daud. He was the last ruler of the imperial Songhai Empire. Sunni Ali was considered the empire's most formidable military strategist and conqueror. During his campaigns for expansion, Ali conquered many lands, repelling attacks from the Mosi to the south and overcoming the Dogon people of the north. He annexed Timbuktu in 1468 after Islamic leaders of the town requested his assistance in overthrowing marauding Tuaregs who had taken the city following the decline of Mali. The invasion of Sunni Ali and his forces caused harm to the city of Timbuktu, and he conducted a repressive policy against the scholars of Timbuktu, especially those of the Sankore region who were associated with the Tuareg. With his control of critical trade routes and cities such as Timbuktu, Sunni Ali brought great wealth to the Songhai Empire, which at its height would surpass the wealth of Mali. Sunni Ali is often known as a powerful politician and great military commander. Whatever the case may have been, his legend consists of him being a fearless conqueror who united a great empire, sparking a legacy that is still intact today. Under his reign, Djenne and Timbuktu became great centers of learning. After taking the throne, Muhammad is known as Askia the Great, even though he had no real right to be the king. Not only was he not in the royal family bloodline, he did not hold the sacred symbols which entitled one to become a ruler. Furthermore, he was most likely a descendant of Soninke lineage rather than Songhai, which means that by Songhai standards his family background would have not allowed him to be king. But Askia managed to bypass that law and took the throne. He organized the territories that Sunni had previously conquered and extended his power as far to the south and east. The army of the Songhai Empire under the Askia Muhammad I 1493 to 1528 possessed a full-time corps of warriors. He also was gifted in administration and encouraging trade. He centralized the administration of the empire and established an efficient bureaucracy which was responsible for, among other things, tax collection and the administration of justice. He also commanded that canals be built in order to enhance agriculture, which will eventually increase trade. As Askia the Great grew older, his power declined. In 1528, his sons revolted against him and declared Musa, one of Askia's many sons, as king. Between the political chaos and multiple civil wars within the empire, it came as a surprise when Morocco invaded Songhai unexpectedly. In the decisive Battle of Tundibi on 13 March 1591, the Moroccans destroyed the entire Songhai army and proceeded to capture Gao and Timbuktu, marking the end of the empire.